A fully grown male silverback gorilla can weigh between 300 to 440 pounds, 135, 200 kilograms, but weight alone doesn't tell the story. A gorilla's upper body is a masterpiece of raw muscle and evolutionary engineering. Its arms alone can span up to 7.5 feet and are capable of generating astonishing force. Some estimates suggest a silverback can lift over 1,800 pounds, nearly a ton. It can crush bones with a single punch and run at speeds of 20 to 25 miles per hour in short bursts. And its bite, over 1,300 psi, enough to shatter a coconut, or worse. But this strength is built for intimidation and defense, not endless combat. Now consider the other side of this match. 100 humans, unarmed, untrained. Average. This isn't a squad of martial artists or Olympic athletes. It's a mix of ages, body types, genders. On their own, most would pose no threat to a gorilla. But together, they're a force of sheer numbers. And numbers have power, especially when combined with human ingenuity. Our ancestors brought down woolly mammoths with little more than sharpened sticks, coordination, and willpower. So while an individual may fall with a single blow, a swarm has potential. Here's the twist. Strength alone isn't enough. The gorilla has power, yes, but it's built for explosive moments, not marathon battles. Humans, on the other hand, are built for endurance. Through evolution, we developed sweat glands to cool down, allowing us to chase prey for hours. We're not as strong, we're not as fast, but we outlast. And in this hypothetical brawl, that could matter more than anything else. If humans strategize, forming waves, flanking, wearing the gorilla down, it becomes a war of attrition. The gorilla can knock down 10, maybe 20 attackers, but 80 more are waiting. Every move burns precious energy, and even the strongest muscle tires eventually. There's another angle few consider: psychology. Gorillas are not bloodthirsty. They avoid conflict whenever possible. Their strength is used for show, for warnings, beating their chest, stomping the ground, mock charges, all designed to prevent fights, not provoke them. In this scenario, a gorilla might initially try to intimidate, but when humans don't back down, when the panic rises, so too does confusion. Gorillas are intelligent, but they aren't trained fighters. Surrounded, outnumbered, and increasingly exhausted, even the fiercest silverback might panic. And panic is the enemy of precision. Eventually, the gorilla tires. The blows it lands become weaker. The crowd presses in. Perhaps a few humans are injured, maybe even killed. But with enough people climbing, grabbing, and holding, the beast is brought down. Not because it's weak, not because it's not intelligent, but because numbers, when used effectively, win. Every species has its limit, even this one. The average adult male human has a bench press max of 135 to 185 pounds. Elite athletes and powerlifters can push that to 300 or even 400 pounds. But a silverback gorilla, without any training or gym equipment, can lift an estimated 1,800 pounds. That's about 10 times more than a fit human. Some estimates suggest a gorilla may be 15 to 20 times stronger than the average man when factoring in upper body and arm muscle. Their arms, in particular, are immensely overpowered compared to ours. The length of a gorilla's arm gives it greater torque and swinging capability. A single swipe could easily knock out a human, break bones, or throw an opponent several feet away. Humans, in contrast, must rely on speed, technique, and leverage to subdue an opponent. Strength alone rarely wins the day in human combat. But strength isn't just about lifting. Grip strength is another factor. A gorilla's hands are massive, with opposable thumbs and rough palms suited for climbing and grasping. Studies suggest their grip strength exceeds 1,300 psi. That's more than 3 times greater than the average man's 300 to 400 psi. This means if a gorilla grabs you, you aren't getting away. Now let's talk legs. Human legs are stronger proportionally than our arms. It's one of the few areas where we're closer to gorillas in output. But the gorilla's glutes and thighs are still more powerful overall. Their lower bodies are designed for quick, powerful lunges and short sprints. A gorilla can charge faster than the average human can run. Flexibility. Gorillas aren't gymnasts, but their range of motion, especially in the shoulders and hips, gives them a level of agility unexpected in such large animals. They can climb, swing, roll, and rotate their joints in ways that humans simply can't without years of training. Where humans shine, however, is in our endurance. Gorillas overheat easily and can only sustain explosive action for short durations, typically less than a minute at full exertion. Humans, by contrast, have finely tuned thermoregulation through sweating and are capable of maintaining low-intensity activity for hours. This makes us persistent predators. We run marathons. We don't win sprints against gorillas. Another overlooked factor is pain tolerance and recovery. Gorillas are built to take hits and keep moving. Their thick hide and dense muscle cushion impacts that would debilitate a human. In the first few minutes of a fight, a gorilla could withstand punches, tackles, and blows with barely any effect. Humans, on the other hand, can be incapacitated by a single hit to the head or a broken bone. Let's visualize a confrontation. One human sprints forward. The gorilla sees the threat, charges, and delivers a single-arm strike. That human is out. Maybe a group rushes in from behind. Some manage to pull on the gorilla's arms, but the gorilla reacts, twisting with brutal power, sending bodies flying. It's a storm of violence, quick, chaotic, primal. But with each exertion, the gorilla gets a little more tired. Humans fall, yes, but others remain, surrounding the beast. Sweat pours from the gorilla's back as its breathing becomes labored. In the fifth or sixth minute, the fight changes. The humans no longer fear it as much. They begin to see it slow down. They begin to work together. Here lies the ultimate truth. A gorilla's strength is unmatched, but even the strongest being has a threshold. Humans with numbers can exceed it, not by overpowering, but by enduring. In nature, strength wins battles. In evolution, endurance wins wars. The silverback gorilla is a marvel of nature, with muscles layered over steel-like bones, an iron grip capable of crushing limbs, and a temperament that can shift from peaceful to terrifying in seconds. This animal represents the pinnacle of physical dominance in the primate world. It can lift nearly 10 times its own body weight. It can outrun a human over short distances, and in one-on-one combat, no unarmed human would stand a chance. But the battlefield changes when it becomes 100 humans, coordinated, tactical, perhaps even desperate. Humans are not the strongest species on Earth, but we are the most adaptable, the most inventive, and above all, the most determined. Our evolution has equipped us with endurance, communication, problem-solving skills, and the unique ability to work together in ways no other species can replicate. Would the gorilla win in the opening seconds? Likely, yes. It would tear through a handful of attackers with terrifying ease, but fatigue sets in quickly for such a large animal. In just a few minutes, its breathing becomes labored, its swings less precise. Meanwhile, the human swarm adapts. They regroup, they re-strategize, and they press forward not through strength, but through sheer numbers, persistence, and coordination. This hypothetical battle becomes less about domination and more about survival, about attrition. It transforms from a brutal contest of might into a psychological war of endurance. The gorilla, a king of its world, suddenly finds itself in unfamiliar territory, surrounded, overwhelmed, and outlasted. So, does the gorilla have a chance? Absolutely. It is perhaps the most formidable solo combatant among primates. But do 100 humans stand a chance? More than you might think. When humans unite, even the most daunting challenges can be overcome. In nature, the strongest may win the fight, but in the story of humanity, it's cooperation, intelligence, and endurance that win the war.